I'm the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So today we're gonna play the last of the five "Can all my other factions kill off my Necrons" kind of birthday for myself series games. Definitely gonna have to do something like this next year. So yeah, the Tyranids we'll be playing today. All of Thomas's Tyranids plus all of my Tyranids that are kind of done, close enough to play anyway. So like 3,600-ish points, 3,400 points, I think, of Tyranids. And I do have that much left in Necrons, so it should be a pretty decent time. This is Illuminar Zeros. It's a Necron HQ. Kind of acts like a Technomancer, I think. I haven't quite finished painting him yet. Had him about a year, but we all have projects. Okay, I probably have about 30. I'll finish this guy someday. He just needs the guy that he's like stealing the soul from or whatever. Like, I just need to finish painting that guy off. Alright, so this is going to be where the big, ginormous battle is going to take place. It's partially a Necron defense, so all of this area over here will be where the Necrons will be mostly congregated at. This big-ass open area over here will be for the Tyranids. There's just so many of them I couldn't think or find any other way. Even putting them in by waves, it was super annoying for me. So they're just gonna come in all at once over here. So yeah, this should be a good long battle. Definitely looking forward to it. Alright, so we'll meet the Tyranids first. So yeah, 3,000-ish points of Tyranids. There is a whole lot of stuff here. So we got two 10-man units of Hormagaunts, Tyranid Prime, a Broodlord, 10 Gargoyles, a Trigon Prime, a Winged Hive Tyrant. He has a Stranglethorn Cannon. Yeah, so 5 10-man squads of Gene Stealers, and then 1 5-man squad of Gene Stealers. Another Trigon Prime. A regular Hive Tyrant. He also has a Stranglethorn Cannon. A Tyrannifex that does not have a gun. 4 Tyranid Warriors. 3 Tyranid Warriors. One of them has a Stranglethorn Cannon. 2 5-man squads of Ripper Swarms. 12 Termagants with, I think that's a Devourer. That's what I'm going to play it as, a Devourer. 12 Termagants with the Spine Fists. The Trigons and the Ripper Swarms will be tunneling under, but everything else is going to be set up on this side of the board. Pretty sure it's all going to fit. We'll see. So now we meet the Necrons, the surviving Necrons. Yeah, I had to get really close to my stairs in order to get all this into one shot. There's a lot of Necrons there. Let's start over here with 3 Overlords, a Lord, a Royal Warden, 3 Cryptex that are going to be Technomancers, and Focus 6. Catan the Deceiver. Someday I'm going to finish this, the Catan the Nightbringer. 2 Doomsday Arcs, a Canoptic Doomstalker, a Monolith, 10 Praetorians with the Voidblade and Particle Caster, 6 Scorpic Destroyers, 4 Tomb Blades with Nebula Scopes and Shield Bands and Twin Tesla Destructor thingies, 3 9-man groups of Canoptic Scarabs and the Canoptic Spider with the Gloom Prison and the Manipulator array. 20 Flayed Ones. 2 10-man groups of Necron Warriors. Each one has 5 Gauss Reapers and 5 of the Gauss Flayers. The 2 remaining Locust Heavy Destroyers with Gauss Destructors. 2 Hexmark Destroyers. 2 Annihilation Barges, one with the Tesla Cannon, the other one with the Gauss Cannon. And the Silent King with his 2 Triarchal Menhirs. The Monolith is also going to be spitting Immortals out. Probably 5 at a time. I think there's 25 left in here, so we might get them all out this game. But yeah, roughly, I think the only thing that's not in this game is the Shard of the Void Dragon, the Stalker, about 15 Warriors, and a couple extra Overlords, because I really do have a lot of those guys. So yeah, reset up the board, I'll set all of this stuff up, and we're going to play a crazy-ass game. Okay, so for the Tyranid side here, we have Hormigons and Gene Stealers pretty much all across the front row here. And then Termagants, Tyranid Prime, Tyranid Warriors, the Tyrannifex, non-flying Hive Tyrant, more Gene Stealers, more Termagants, Broodlord, Gargoyles, a flying Hive Tyrant, and more Gene Stealers there in the corner. The Trigons and the Ripper Swarms are currently burrowing somewhere under here. So for the Necron side, there's just a lot. Kind of like the Tyranids, there's just a lot. Warriors, Praetorians, Hexmark, the Heavy Destroyer, Annihilation Barge on the back in the corner there. There's the other ones on the other side. Doomsday Arc on the corners there. And Cryptek, Royal Warden, and the new Overlord with the Silent King up there in the middle. Tomb Blades kind of in the front for fun, I guess. Doomstalker, the 2 Catan Shards, the Deceiver, and the Nightbringer on this side. You got the Monolith over there, the 3 Scarab units, and the Spider, another Overlord, and a Cryptek. I guess you guys are Technomancers now. So then we have a Technomancer, an Overlord, and a Lord, and they're just going to help out the Immortals. They're going to be popping out of the Monolith. Scorpic Destroyer is there. And then it's almost the same as on the other side. Warriors, Blade Ones, Hexmark, Heavy Destroyer behind the statue. So yeah, this is the big battle. This is the game that I wanted to play. So the Tyranids are going to start us off, and we'll do some movement. So every Tyranid just advanced forward. Pretty much all of them got pretty far. Yeah, the Gene Stealers and Hormigons over there got really far. These Gene Stealers got pretty far. The stuff that was at the back got as far as it could for its distance anyway. Psychic phase, this Hive Tyrant is going to try and do Catalyst on the Tyrannifex. It was a Hormigon falling to the ground. Gets it on a 10, so this thing now has, I believe, 5-up Feel No Pain. So if it takes a wound, it rolls a 5, or it rolls a d6, and if it gets a 5 or more, then it doesn't take the wound. Nobody's in range for smiting or anything like that, so Tyranid shooting. I'll have to look, I'm not entirely sure if anyone can shoot. So after some measurement, the Hive Tyrant, using his Stranglethorn Cannon, killed 3 of these warriors over here. And then the Flying Hive Tyrant, who also has a Stranglethorn Cannon, managed to kill 1 of these warriors. I mean, he killed 3, but 2 reanimated, so he really only killed 1. I didn't do Onslaught, so none of these guys can charge. I gotta look at something real fast, though. So yeah, I checked a bunch, and I hope I checked correctly, because without casting Onslaught on anybody, I can't actually advance and charge. So that'll make it the Necron turn. Movement. A whole lot of stuff moved over here. The Praetorians moved down here. The Tukatan moved up onto the hill. The Hexmark and the Heavy Destroyer both moved up. The Annihilation Barrage moved out of the corner. The Silent King came down. Tomb Blades moved up. The Scorpax advanced up. The Annihilation Barrage was in the corner, kind of moved up. The Monoliths spit out 5 Immortals in the back there. The Flayed Ones advanced up to the edge of the board as close as they could. The Hexmark and the Heavy Destroyer on that side also moved up. The Scarabs all moved up in anticipation of a charge. The Spider moved up to make more Scarabs. That's pretty much all that moved over here. Catan powers. So the Nightbringer has Transdimensional Thunderbolt. Gonna put it into these guys. So on a 2-up, it does some craziness. Yep, that's a 2-up. So they take D3 mortal wounds. So 2 of these guys die. And then on a 4-up, these guys will take a mortal wound. That is a 4. 1 of these guys dies. So within 3 of these guys. These guys are also within 3 of these guys, so that is not a 4. So these guys are safe for now. That'll take us to the Necron shooting phase. So the Warriors and the Hexmark up there managed to kill off all of the Hormagaunts that were over here. The Monolith killed off 2 of these Gene Stealers. Over here, it was some pretty crazy destruction. The Hexmark on this side killed 6 of these Gene Stealers. These guys killed off 4 of these guys, and the Warriors killed off 3 more. And then between the 2 Doomsday Arcs and the Doomstalker, they killed the Tyrannifex. It did have the Catalyst thing on it, and it did help a little bit, but it took like 25 points of damage. I will miss it. I wanted to see it crash into the Necron lines and just kind of blow all the way through to the Silent King. That would have been epic. Oh well, maybe next game. Charging will be these Scarabs here close to us into this small remaining group of Gene Stealers. The middle group of Scarabs into the middle group here of Gene Stealers. And then this far group of Scarabs is going into this group of Gene Stealers. I realize that there's a whole lot of Gene Stealers out here. Not as many as there were, but still some. Alright, so we'll deal with combat. All of the Scarabs made their charges. These guys killed the Gene Stealers that were here. These guys killed a whole bunch of the Gene Stealers, but then lost a couple of Scarabs. And these guys killed 6 Gene Stealers and lost 3 Scarabs, and took some more damage on top of it. Those Toxin Sacks are just crazy. Yeah, that'll take us to the Tyranid turn movement. Alright, so all the Tyranids are getting a lot closer now. Everybody moved up again. The 2 groups of Gene Stealers that are in combat with the Scarabs are just going to stay in combat with the Scarabs. Everybody else moved up pretty far. These Gene Stealers got really far. Psychic phase, I think we're just going to do a round of smites all around here. So this Hive Tyrant into these guys since they're the closest unit. Gets it on a 9. D3 wounds. Does the full 3. Puts one of these guys down to 1. The Brood Lord also do smite into these guys. So he perils, but he does d6 damage. He also does 3 damage to 1, which takes, well, that actually kills 1 and puts 1 down to 3. So then the Hive Tyrant, closest enemy to him is also these scarabs right here. Does get it on a 6. He just does 1 damage. That wounded scarab unit will go down to 2. And that'll take us to the Tyranid shooting phase. A lot more shooting this turn. So the Hive Tyrant here tried to do some damage to this hex mark over here, but he failed to wound. The Winged Hive Tyrant killed the hex mark that was over here. And these Tyranid warriors managed to kill one of these Praetorians. That'll take us to the charge phase. So there's already Gene Stealers in combat with those scarabs. These Hormagaunts are going to charge into the Praetorians. The Hive Tyrant and these Gene Stealers here, the ones on the right, are going to charge into the scarabs. These Gene Stealers are going to charge into the Flight ones. So yeah, I'll do combat, and we'll see what's left. Yeah, everybody made their charges. Some of the craziest combat that I have dealt with in a really long time. So the Hive Tyrant killed 3 of these scarabs. The Gene Stealers killed 3 of the scarabs. And then the scarabs just killed 2 of the Gene Stealers. These guys killed 2 scarabs and lost 2 Gene Stealers. They killed 2 scarabs and lost a Gene Stealer. And these guys killed all 20 flayed ones. Toxin sacks, they're just ridiculous. Ridiculous. So yeah, that happened. God, that was a lot of dice. A lot of dice. But so many dead necrons. Yeah, so that'll put us up to the necron turn. Movement. So a large part of the necron force has moved out here into the middle. These scarabs that were amidst the Hive Tyrant area have fallen back. The Nightbringer has come down off of the hill. The Praetorians have moved forward out of the corner there. The Hexmark on the Heavy Destroyer moved up. The Deceiver moved over here. The Spider moved up to help out the Scarabs. The Tomb Blades came out. The Silent King got closer. The Scorpax advanced up. The 2 Annihilation Barges have come together in the center. The HQs that were left up there have just kind of spread out. Hopefully to try and prevent anything from popping out, but maybe. 5 more Immortals popped out of the back end of the Monoliths. And yeah, none of these guys are moving. So, Catan powers. So the Deceiver here is going to try and do Cosmic Insanity on the Hive Tyrant. So I roll a d6 and add 10. So that's a 6, so that's a 16. The target rolls 1d6 and adds its leadership. I should use their die for it. That's a 6. His leadership is 10, so that's also a 16. If I had a higher number then I would do that much damage, but since they're equal, he doesn't do any damage. That's sad. Okay. So the Nightbringer is going to do Gaze of Death on the Termagants here. So every 4 up, there are 2 of them, does D3 mortal wounds. So 2d3 mortal wounds to these Termagants right here. So that's 3 damage, so 3 Termagants die. And then we'll go into the happy Necron shooting phase. I do love the Necron shooting phase. It's always going to be my favorite phase. So these warriors managed to kill off all of the Gene Stealers that had wiped out the flayed ones. The Monolith actually killed 2 of these gargoyles. The Silent King. So each one of his Annihilator men here, beam shooter thingies. One killed a Tyranid warrior here. The other one killed a Tyranid warrior here. And the Silent King himself did 2 damage to the Hive Tyrant. The Praetorians here killed off a whole bunch of these Termagants. And the Hexmark killed a couple also. Most of them died. Oh yeah, the Tomb Blades. The Tomb Blades killed 2 of the Gene Stealers here. That'll take us to the charge phase. There's a lot of these guys, these Scarabs are still in combat. They're going to continue to be in combat. These Praetorians are going to charge into these Termagants. Both the Nightbringer and the Deceiver are going to charge into the Hive Tyrant. And that might actually be it for charges right at this point. So we'll do some combat. So the Praetorians survived Overwatch, as did both of the Catan. The Praetorians killed off the Termagants. So the Deceiver didn't do a whole lot of damage, but the Nightbringer with his Entropic Blow did a lot of damage. It made it so it couldn't use its Emblem to save, so it took 8 damage from that. Put the Hive Tyrant down to 2. But he split his attacks between the 2 Catan and did the max damage it could to each, so 3 damage to each of them. So these Scarabs managed to kill off the Gene Stealers that were menacing them. And these Scarabs killed off one of the Gene Stealers, but then the Gene Stealers turned around and killed off one of the Scarabs. Good times. Alright, so that'll take us to the Tyranid turn. Movement. So the Hive Tyrant and these other 2 Gene Stealers here are just going to stay in combat. Everybody else moved up. The Praetorians kind of got encircled by the warriors. One of the Trigons popped out over here. One of the Ripper groupings popped out back here. The other Trigon popped out over here. And then the last grouping of Rippers popped out on this edge. Hopefully they can do some awesome things. It'll take us to the Psychic phase. Alright, so the Hive Tyrant here is going to do Smite. I guess it's going to go off on the Nightbringer maybe. Yeah, gets it with a 7. D3 wounds. 3 wounds, that's the max it can do. So the Nightbringer goes down to 3. The Broodlord is going to try and do Catalyst on the Flying Hive Tyrant. Gets that with an 11, so 5 up, Feel No Pain for the Hive Tyrant. And then the Hive Tyrant's just going to do Smite, I guess. Closest enemy to him is going to be those warriors on the hill there. Gets it with a 9, so D3 wounds. 1. just kills one of those warriors off. Alright, so that'll take us to the Tyranid shooting phase. So between the gargoyles and the flying hive tyrant, they killed 5 of the necron warriors over there. These termagants killed one of these scarabs. These Tyranid warriors killed off 2 of the praetorians? No, yeah. I think that was all the shooting that was done because he's in combat and can't shoot. But that'll take us to the charging, which will be a lot. Both groups of warriors into these praetorians, these gene stealers into the scarabs, these termagants into the scarabs, the gargoyles and the gene stealers over there into the warriors. Yeah, that sounds like a lot, but that'll be fun. Lots of combat. So everybody made their charges. Nobody suffered any damage in Overwatch, which is kind of unusual for me, but apparently all the Sixers are getting rolled for Tyranids and not Necrons today. These guys killed all of the Praetorians. Those toxin sacks are really, really brutal. These guys killed a Scarab unit and lost... yeah, they lose against that. These guys actually did manage to kill a Scarab unit and lost a couple of Termagants in return. The Hive Tyrant managed to kill the Nightbringer, who did not explode, and then the Deceiver killed the Hive Tyrant. These guys just lost a Gene Stealer and killed a Scarab. And then the Gargoyles / Gene Stealer grouping just wiped out the remaining warriors up there. So yeah, Tyranids are still a force to be reckoned with this far into the game with this many units gone. It really could be anybody's game at this point. Probably not, just because I still have the Silent King and both Doomsday Arcs and the Monolith for Necrons, but Tyranids have made it a lot further than I ever thought they would. So yeah, the Necron turn movement. Alright, middle of the board's getting real crowded now. So the Tomb Blades moved up, the Overlord moved up, the Spider made a new Scarab for over here, Technomancer moved up, Scorbex moved up, Silent King moved up, the Annihilation Barges moved up, the 2 Immortal groups there advanced forward. The Monolith spit out more Immortals. Pretty sure that's all that moved this turn. So, Catan powers. So the Deceiver here is going to do Cosmic Fire. So 1d6 for each enemy unit within 9 inches. To be both units of Tyranid Warriors here, these Gene Stealers, and these Rippers. 1d6 for each. On a 4-up, d3 mortal wounds. So these Rippers, that's not a 4-up. This group of 3 Tyranid Warriors, that's a 4-up. So they can take d3 mortal wounds and take 2. One of those guys goes down to 1. So the group of 2, nothing. And the Gene Stealers, also nothing. Well, that wasn't terrible. It did a point of damage to somebody. That's a point of damage that I don't have to do later. Sigh. Yeah. Necron shooting phase done. Okay, there was a whole lot of crazy shooting that just happened. The Hexmark here killed the 3 Gene Stealers that were over here. The Heavy Destroyer killed one of these Tyranid Warriors. The Tomb Blades killed 2 of the Rippers. The Menhirs of the Silent King killed 2 more Rippers. The Monolith killed most of the gargoyles, and then the heavy destroyer killed one more, leaving just one. The Doomsday Arc back there killed the Broodlord, and a couple of the Ripper Swarms to the next of it. This Doomsday Arc killed this Trigon, and yeah, that might actually be it. There was a lot of death. Oh yeah, the Doomstalker here killed the Tyranid Prime. So yeah, a whole lot of death. Charge phase. I guess the Technomancer into the Gene Stealers and the Scorpex into the Gene Stealers, if I got the range. I gotta double check that. The Spider into the Termagants, the Overlord into the Termagants. The Deceiver, I guess, is gonna charge into these Warriors. I guess I'll put the Scarabs into this single Warrior over here. That should probably do for now. So these Scorpex and these Scarabs did not make their charge. Everybody else did. These guys killed out their Gene Stealers. These guys killed out their Gene Stealers. This guy killed two of these Tyranid Warriors and took 3 damage in return. Yeah, that'll make it the Tyranid turn. Movement. So this lone Tyranid's gonna remain in combat with the Deceiver. This Tyranid just moved up to take on some Scarabs, I guess. The Ripper moved up, probably for the Spider. Gene Stealers and Gargoyle all got closer to the Heavy Destroyer. The Winged Hive Tyrant just hopped up there, and the Trigon got really, really close. And in the corner, the last 3 Rippers are getting closer to these Immortals. Psychic phase. Well, the only one left alive that can do Psychics is the Winged Hive Tyrant. We'll go ahead and do Smite, I guess, on that Heavy Destroyer right there. Let's see, gets it on a 9, so it does D3 damage. It does 2 damage to the Heavy Destroyer. Shooting phase. Still do have a couple Tyranid guns. So the Gargoyle and the Winged Hive Tyrant between them killed the Heavy Destroyer over there. And this Tyranid Warrior did a couple points of damage to some of these Scarabs. So the charge phase. These Rippers are indeed going to charge into that Spider. This Tyranid Warrior is going to charge into these Scarabs. The Rippers, way over there in the corner, are going to charge into the Close Immortals. And that'll be it for charging for these guys for this time. So we'll do that in some combat. So the Rippers in the corner here, they didn't make their charge distance, and they lost 2 Rippers to Overwatch. The Ripper that charged the Scarab, unfortunately it got really close to the Overlord, who then just kind of killed it. This Tyranid Warrior managed to kill the Deceiver. And this Tyranid Warrior managed to kill the Wounded Scarab. Yeah, so both Catan dead already? That's super crazy. Yeah, so that'll make it the Necron turn. Movement. Alright, so there's a whole lot of mobilization going on here. The Scarab that was in combat with the Tyranid Warrior has fallen back. Annihilation barges have moved up. Silent King is heading towards this mess over here. The Scorpex kind of moved up onto the hill. The Immortals moved forward. These Immortals are moving towards the Rippers. Mama's kicked out another 5 Immortals. That's pretty much all that moved here. The The Overlord is coming this way to take these guys on if they don't die in the shooting phase. There's no more Catan, so there's no need to do a Catan thing. So Necron shooting. So the group of Tomb Blades killed the Tyranid warrior that used to be here. It took both Annihilation Barges, but they managed to kill the other Tyranid warrior that used to be here. The far group of Immortals over here killed the one Ripper that was still alive over there. The Monolith killed off the Gargoyle and the Gene Stealers that were over here. This Doomsday Arc killed the Trigon. This Doomsday Arc killed the Flying Hive Tyrant. So in the end, Necrons do win. It just took a really long time. I didn't think the Necrons were gonna win that one, to be honest with you. The Tyranids got some really, really decent, what's the word there, penetration, I guess. So that was some craziness. All 4 of the rounds before this one wiped out about 4,300 points in Necrons. So Tyranid versus Necron wise, this was about even for this last game. And yeah, that was everything that I wanted it to be, and just a little bit more. Did not expect to lose both Catan. That was just kind of ridiculous. Yeah, if you made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it. I know this has been a long one. Not the longest one ever, but it's definitely long. Definitely the biggest game I've ever done. This was 6,800 points, give or take. That's about 1,000 more than my biggest game, so yeah, this was super, super crazy. Yeah, if you're still watching after all these videos, I think this is like 81 or 82. I definitely appreciate it. If you're one of the 193 people that subscribes to me for a reason, I definitely, definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep on going with this journey. Now that I've done this, I gotta try and find a way to do 10,000 points on the same table. I might have to build a bigger table. Either way, my remaining Necrons and I really do appreciate it, and we thank you again. Have a good day.